Okay, so I got a question for you. Do you ever find yourself going, why won't they just leave me alone? Shh, could everyone just be quiet? Or do you ever hear yourself saying, why the heck won't that person ever speak up? Why don't they ever say anything? Gosh, do they have anything to say? Well, if you've said either one of these things or you've heard that or felt this way about yourself, there's a good chance you might be a white. Hey, everybody, I'm Zandra, for those of you who don't know me. And I have been a coach and facilitator and overall goal inspirer for over 25 years now. And I'm really excited today to share with another core motivation of the color code. And it is my wonderful snow like whites. So, what are my whites all about? You are motivated by peace, all right? And we're talking inner and outer peace, just not, I think that's what everyone assumes. And it's not necessarily what I mean. What I mean is you're not willing to sacrifice how you feel for to make sure that someone else feels better. But at the same time, you ain't gonna go screw with someone either. You're going to say, I just want everyone to be happy generally. And sometimes that means just getting the heck out of Dodge, right? So a lot of times my whites will just be there. And then all of a sudden you go, where did they go? What's going on? Well, it's because they've had enough and you are not bringing them the peace that they want in their life. So, what are the peace, inner and outer peace, is what the core motivation for this color is. Really, and what is that? What are their strengths? They are able to see things on both sides. They're empathic, and generally they're great inventors because they are always looking at both sides, and they're very pragmatic, and they generally make great politicians a lot of times because they don't have to like everyone that they're with. They can be tolerant, and that's one of their biggest strengths. Is they're just like, hey man, I'm just here to live my best life and try to find a good view for you guys here, right? And not blind myself in the sun. So that's what my whites are really all about. Inner peace, outer peace, and really about bringing balance. So, do you know any Yodas in your life? Right? Real Yodas that just bring a whole bunch of peace, joy, because they're quiet, because they're comforting. A lot of times it's funny, my whites will go, oh my God, you're the best listener. Thank you so much for helping me solve all my problems. You're so great at this. And the funny thing is, white never said anything to you. All they did was give you space to speak. And that's what I really liken my whites. I liken them to snow because they're generally introverted. They're very quiet. You don't necessarily see them or coming or going all the time, but they have this presence everywhere they go. And they just swirl around us in this gentle way. But if we're really loud, if we're yellows and reds and blues, generally we're the blabbermouths of the color code. The whites are generally the listeners. And what'll happen is we will overwhelm them with our energy, with our talk, with our thoughts. And they're waiting to be asked, what do you think? And even then, if they feel that it's going to bring you a lot of dis-ease, they're not necessarily going to tell you if they're unhappy. They just may go, oh, that's nice. And how do you see a white out in the crowd? Generally, a white is what we call the chameleon of the color code. So they're out there generally acting a little bit like every single color. So if you're not sure, if you're like, I don't know which one of these motivations is mine, I feel like a little bit of everything depending on the situation, good chance you may be a white. And what does that mean? When whites are with yellows, yellows will be cracking it up laughing, and whites are going, you're so funny. That was a good one. I really liked it. Not necessarily laughing, right? Not always super demonstrative of their feelings. And so it's really important to ask them, how are you doing? Does this make sense for you? And they may be just humoring you. Haha. Thank you, my white friends, for humoring my bad jokes sometimes. That's what I love about them, right? They'll just nod and say, that's great. When they're with the blues and blues are going, I can't believe this is going on. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? There's a problem. It's very distressing. Whites will go, what should we do about that? Can I help out? What can I do? They don't get as upset as the whites because they're not. Whites are logical, not emotional, but they're really great at mimicking whoever they're with's emotions so that they can bring peace for both of them and that there's no discomfort in the relationships. That's what's so amazing about white. They really are trying to make comfort for everyone. And even though, again, us blabbermouths are like, why don't you say something? And really, they're like, I have nothing else to say. I'm good right now. Sorry, my hair's bugging me here. Um, I don't want to say that. I'm good. So, let me think here. I'm all distracted. I'm excited today. I'm in my yellow fully. And so, what do we need to know about whites? What are some of their strengths? Objective, kind, even tempered, voice of reason, good listeners, as I said, balanced, clear perspective. Diplomatic was the word I was looking for earlier, where they can get along with people, even though you and I may be like, I don't like them. They're like, well, whatever, who cares? It's just the way they are. But of course, being on that other side, there's also things that my whites need to be careful about, and which is not being hurt because they can be so silently stubborn. They want to avoid conflict generally, unless they've got a strong secondary emotional, blue or yellow, right? If they're white, red, generally there's going to be very little emotion in there at all, and they're not going to understand, and they might even struggle getting along with other emotion based people, right? So they can be sometimes disinterested, unmotivated. They can be an indirect communicator, and they can come across as detached or uninvolved. Sometimes people can even think that they're maybe aggressive or they're not a team player, and that's not the case at all. Like with all the colors, you just have to figure out the best way to communicate them and what is it that they need. And as a white, why do you need to know this? Because people are getting you all wrong, baby. They think that you're aloof. They think you're cold. They think you're boring. They think you're uninteresting. And oh my God, it is the least thing that you are, my friend. You are so amazing and so beautiful. And that's what people need to know. So you need to speak up. You need to let the rest of the world know what a freaking genius you are. Okay, because we will just keep blabbing and blabbing and blabbing, right? On the other hand, if you think that you are with whites and you think, oh, geez, maybe that's my partner, maybe, right? Because a lot of us love a white in our life because they will just let us take center stage and be who we are and give us love and then just walk away when they don't need us. And, or when we don't need them, sorry, they'll just be, yeah, you're good. You're flying on your way. That's what I love about them. Being helium as a yellow, I love it when I have a grounding force of white, my snow. That's what I feel like. It keeps me from ripping off into the stratosphere. And now, when I'm looking to add people even to my team, I really am looking for people that can really turn up their white. Why? Because they can ground me and make sure that I'm getting done the things that I want to get done, right? So, what do we if you think that you're dealing with whites, what do you need to do? You want to accept and support their individuality. They're not like necessarily everyone else because they're like I said, the other three motivators are really out there generally, and they want their opinions to be known, and they want to influence other people's opinions, and they want to have fun or make relationships or move things from A to B. White, on the other hand, is just happy to be, right? They're just happy to chill, and they don't need a whole bunch of stimulation. They don't need a whole bunch of in your faceness. And I love one of my clients. Gosh, I love her so much because I didn't even think about giving her the assessment at first. And then I realized quickly she was a white. So we got into a coaching relationship, and I was so excited to be working with her because I really admire her and I think she's an amazing person. And so I'm like, how about this package? XYZ, boom, boom, sparkle, glitter, woo! And I was so excited about this package. And she went, okay, that's good. And I was like, she hates it. Oh my God, she hates it. So then I instantly, the worst sales move ever, went, well, wait a minute, we can do something else. What about um, uh, D, E, and F? That's even better. Like, that's my lower package, blah, blah. And she was like, sure, Zan. And then I stopped and I was like, oh man, I am sorry. I'm totally disappointing you here. Like, what do you need from me? And she looks at me and she goes, okay, how about this? She goes, inside I'm screaming right now. And in that moment, I went, oh my God, yellow, or sorry, me yellow, she white all the way, right? She's to her just saying this is good enough. But for the rest of us, it's hard. So sometimes we need to meet in the middle, right? We need you to let us know because you can be a little indecisive. And why is that? Because my whites are the scientists. Because they're pragmatic, because they are always looking at both sides of the story, they're always asking questions, they're always looking for more info before they make a decision because they want to make the right decision. So if you've got a staff person where you're like, why can't they just get any work done? Why do they keep asking me the same question over and over again? What? They might be a white and they just may need that extra time. But instead of just going bark, bark, bark and giving them the info, ask them, what's going on? What do you need? Do you want me to record it? Can I write it down for you? And my whites go, thank you, because you are talking so fast. You are giving me so many details that I don't even really need. And so it's really important with all the colors and all the people to ask them their opinion and what's important to them and all those things. Man, it's even more, it's vital if you are with white. And especially if you have a partner that is a white core motivator, motivated by peace, and you are like me, you have to be very careful that you don't smother them with your energy, and just assume because they're not saying anything to negate what you're saying or feeling that they agree with you 100%. Okay? They don't. But we'll walk around going, oh God, I'm so amazing. I'm so wonderful. Look at me with all my whites around me. And they just think I'm the best. No, no, they're just like, that's okay. You haven't bothered me enough yet. You haven't said anything that's offensive enough for me to walk away. So, really important to ask questions when you've got those quiet people in your team, in your group, in your family, to really press them and ask them open ended questions, not yes, no questions. It's very easy to go, yes, no, 3 o'clock, purple. You need to say, what do you like the best about this idea? What is the thing that makes you the most uncomfortable about this idea? What would you like to do instead? What else could we do? So whites are amazing at brainstorming, but because that's we don't give them space, we just go blah blah blah. Oh, Fran never said anything again, so whatever. No, it's we have to tune in with them because there's more than likely something super important they want to say. They're just not going to say it unless you ask them. Okay, so really dig deep in with them, and keep those communication channels open. Um, the other thing that you want to do, because whites are non-controlling, remember, controlling, non-controlling, my reds and blues controlling, my yellows and whites non-controlling. And then we've got the other spectrum, which is emotional and logical. Whites and reds logical, blues and yellow emotional. Okay, so that's where you can kind of tune in and know, how do I want to communicate? A true white or somebody with a large, they're going to want logic, they're going to want facts and figures. Don't bring them with a whole bunch of drama, because they'll a lot of times just walk away, or they'll go, I've got explosive diarrhea or something, right? They'll just get the heck out of Dodge as fast as they can. So, what else do we need to do? Try to be patient. Don't rush them. Give them space. So, if you've got to have a conversation in my whites, let me know if this resonates with you, where we're like, no, 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 talk, 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 talk. You need to give whites a little bit of control over the environment because they are trying to avoid any conflict. So, going in with going, we got a problem and I need to deal with this with you right now, it just ain't gonna work. And maybe you think it is a thing if you're a white, if you're one of the other colors, but I'm telling you, you want to have best relationships with white, so important to give them space to think. So if you're a boss and you think you have a white employee, I need you to say, hey, John, we've got your evaluation. We did your evaluation. And they're like, oh God, a lot of us, if you've got imposter syndrome, remember, healthy, unhealthy behaviors, we're not feeling our best. I may go, I don't want an evaluation. I hate evaluations. I don't ever want to do it. No. And all of a sudden they're sick. They quit their job. I've seen everything. You need to say, you know what? You're doing great. It's just something we have to get through. It's a formality. There's a couple of areas that I have to suggest of improvement, but you're amazing. And White goes, okay. And then you go, so when's a good time for you to meet, for us to talk about this? No big deal. Do you want to go for a walk? We can go. Make it as informal and comfortable as possible when you have to have hard conversations with white. Okay. And if you're a white, let me know, does that resonate with you? And, but really too, watch for body language, because white is not necessarily saying it with their words, but they're going to say it with their uncomfortableness, maybe fidgeting in their seat every time you say a certain thing because they're just not digging it. All right. So really be in tune with them. Um, and on the don'ts, don't create more drama than you need to. Don't create more conflict, aggressiveness. A true white, yes, I've got my whites who got a strong red, unhealthy red that are just, spoiling for a fight all the time. Very rarely, my friends. Okay. I get it. There's blends and everything. I want you to know that. We're talking about more that true white that really is a strong white. Like myself, I am a true yellow with a very strong secondary blue. So my yellow is like, I don't give a care. I just want to have fun. I just want to party, do my thing, show up at the last minute for my lives. And, but the blue in me goes, oh gosh, I'm so stressed as I did before I came here. Oh my gosh, what are the whites going to think? What are the reds going to think? Seriously, that's what I do because I know this so well. My reds are, where are her notes? Give me value. My whites are going, oh, this is nice. When is it going to be over? Can she send us the Cliff's note? Just send me your notes, Dad. Right? So knowing that helps me to show up in my best way, helps me to be the best communicator that I can be, because I never used to communicate too white. I communicated in my style, and really, I think with the other core, like that was passable to the other core people, the reds and the blues, but never the whites, never the whites. I always just overpowered them and went, "Isn't that a great idea? Do you love it?" And they would go, "Mm-hmm," and I go, "I thought so," and I'd be off and running, right? But that's not a real relationship. So it's super important to be connected and, you know, don't talk too fast like myself. My apologies, everyone. I'm trying to learn to slow it down a bit. But honestly, I listen to podcasts and I turn them up to times two, 1.5 to times two. Corey said it sounds like I'm listening to the Chipmunks. I don't care. That's the way my brain and my brain processes and my body processes. But that's not the best for the people I'm communicating with always. So as much as I love myself and I love doing the things that I love to do, I really need to be aware of what the people that I'm trying to communicate with really need. Okay. So, and the other thing is with my whites, a lot of time, unless they really want it, don't force leadership on them. Don't necessarily force opportunities and go, well, geez, you made it. Everybody else is gone. So go for it. Like, just get in there. Whites are not controlling. They want to be part of the team. Okay. They want to help out. They want to, um, they want to create great things too, just like you, but they don't need the glory. They don't need to be the boss. So be really clear with them, give them really clear parameters around what they need to do. Don't overwhelm them with too much. Whites and yellows, don't get us too confused and then give us crap down the road. You know what I mean? Don't give a shit down the road. That's what happened to me is people would just be here, that assignment, like those capstones are my biggest annoyance, in school now, whatever they do. Here's your year-long project. Here's the paper on the first day of school. You need to do this big, amazing thing by the end of the year. But for me, and maybe they do it different now, there was no in between. It was just constantly collecting. Well, I was on the honor roll in everything but that class because I just could not manage it a lot of the ways like a white will do because we're non-controlling. So you really need to give us some clear direction, some clear parameters, and check in with us regularly, right? Make sure, and then don't blow up when it isn't exactly where you want it. You need patience with both of them, but especially white. Yellows will just go, see you later, and they'll just do whatever. Whites will just disappear a lot of times. They won't quit. They'll quiet quit. No, not even that. They won't because they just won't come back to work. It's amazing how I hear that a lot in organizations. Oh, well, where's so-and-so? I'll go back now. I don't know. They just like had it rough and they just gave their note. We never heard from them, gave their notice through an email. good chance they were a white or a blue. Why? Blues because they get too beaten up by all of the drama llamas in the organization, all the drama. Whites because it's just too much drama too. So they're just out of there. But they're not going to tell you about it because they don't want you to feel bad, even if it's your fault. So again, my whites, you need to speak up. Another wonderful client that I worked with came to me, and I believe that they thought they were kind of a failure to launch. They believed that they were had a deep depression, and they were, but not clinical or medical or anything like that. Because once we talked, I think we had like maybe 4 sessions. The first session we did the color code. Oh my gosh, they were a white. And I went, do you understand what that means? And they were like, no, I don't know what that means. So once we walked through it, well, let me put it this way, my beautiful white. Mwah, I know you're out there and I know you're killing it. Thank you. Um, they are in university, they are flying high, they are on their own, they have a better relationship with their family members. Why? Because everybody gets what everybody else is motivated by now. And their family members were not white. So they were all reds and blues and yellows, right? And basically saying, what's wrong with this person? Why aren't they like us? What's wrong with them? There's nothing wrong with them. They're just different than us and they're motivated by different things. So once you can figure that out, life becomes magic, people, right? Conflicts decrease. We are able to support people, our family, our friends, our coworkers, our staff members in the best way that we can because we know what gets them going. We know how to create a safe, happy, productive environment for everyone. But if you're just going in with the status quo, if you're just looking at, oh, well, whatever, this is just people, they get a paycheck. That's what I hear too. Well, what do they need special motivation for? They get a paycheck. Well, honey, that's just not, Reds are motivated by that, not the rest of us. There's other things that we need from you. Okay. So, what do you think of that? Let me know. Does this stuff resonate with you? Do you have any whites in your life? What are some of the things that you struggle with white, right? For me, it was the non-excitement a lot of times. So I have to really learn to go, are you yelling inside? Are you super excited inside? And my whites, it's funny when I do that, they go, yes, Zan, I am. I'm really excited for you or happy. And then I go, thank you. I needed that. But instead of making judgments about other people like we do, it's time to figure out what makes them tick. And it's time to figure out what makes you tick. Because really, that's what the heart of emotional intelligence, right? Which to me is the only superpower that you really need in this world today, especially in the era of influencing. And people call it different things. For me, what I'm talking about is as a coach, as a person, I want to help people know how great they are, know what they want, whether they call it encouraging, influencing, whatever. I don't. I call it influencing. And I want to give you the support and the help to get you where you need to be able to live that dream life that you want to be, and to be able to make connections with other people and get all the things that you want. That deal on that car, a better mortgage rate, that job, that partner, spending time with people that you like, spending your money on things that bring you joy, having a home environment and a work environment that bring you joy, right? And how you feel about yourself is positive and good. And knowing that, that's what I want to influence, because that's what I've looked at other people and that's what I'm watching you. And I want to thank you for being you and living your best life and putting yourself out there and showing up there for me. Because when you live your best life, my friend, you give me the space to live my best life. When you're not judging yourself, when you're not judging others, then I can be my true Freaky Friday self. And babe, you have no idea how much joy, how much love that I have in my heart for you when we can do that together, right? And I want to be able to do the same thing for you. Awesome. So if this is something that interests you, I would love for you to take the assessment. We got a couple different things. You can take the assessment for free. It won't give you the full report, but you'll figure out what your primary and secondary color is. So if that's something that interests you, message me and we'll make sure you get a link. I think Stacia might be getting it on the website, but I'll double check with that. We'll let you know. Um, But if you're like, yeah, Zan, I dig this and I want to know more about it, or maybe you've done the color code with me before, but we haven't had a chance to really dive deep and figure out, what do I do with this? How do I move this? How do I implement this stuff? That's great that I know this. Maybe it's your staff. Maybe it's your family. If you want to know more about how to create a plan around the color code and what that looks like, how that's going to support and benefit everyone around you, well, I want you to reach out. We've got our 1 to 2 hour game plans. I know I freaked some people out. I had a couple friends reach out and go, 2 hours, don't worry about it. We just want to make sure we get what you get, an action plan together for you. Okay, so we can put in, you do the color code, and then we sit down and basically online or in person and basically do an action plan, a game plan around, what do you want in your life? What are the goals that you have based on this? What do you want to develop within yourself? Okay, so that's what we're going to do. There'll be a link down below. You can go to my website, sign up for it. Thank you, everybody that's been signing up. I'm a little overwhelmed. There's only a couple more spots. So if you really are needing the support, please, because I'm actually, my fall is almost booked up now. So I'm starting to book into January and February, but I've got a couple of little spots here and there, and I do have a cancellation list. So reach out, let Stacia and I know. Stacia and I know if you're interested. Also, I want to let you know, thank you. I have been reaching out. Stacey's reaching out on my behalf. So all of you that are liking posts and all that, don't worry. I'm not trying to harass you. I just want to make sure, say, thank you for being with me on this journey, because it lets me know that what I'm offering is valuable, right? As a yellow blue, I need that from you. So thank you for that feedback. And the rest of you, don't worry about it. It is a form thing. I don't want to overwhelm. But I'm telling you, you're tuning in for a reason. So I'm curious, what is it that you're tuning in for, right? It's now. It's time. You deserve this, okay? So quit lurking, people, and get a hold of me. You deserve it. So, and then finally, anybody that has taken the color code, I'm actually just getting ready to go out on the road today with another team. You've done this color code with me, with your team before, or individually, and you say, Zan, I want to take it to the next step. We actually have another piece now called the character code. And that's all I'm going to say. It's a 360 evaluation, and it's really about getting feedback. You think this is how you appear to people with the color code. The character code is really about administering the color code to all of your friends, family, associates, volunteer, whoever you take your influence from or who knows you. They fill out this assessment for you, and then we do an evaluation report on all of it, and that's part 2 of this. So if any of you are like, Zan, when are you getting on to the next thing? My team has already done this. Like 2,000 of you have already done the color code with me. That's what's next, darling. So reach out. All right. Mwah. I love you. My God, it's time. I am aging in reverse right now. I hope you are too. It's time. Whatever you wanted to do, be, or have in your life, it's time to step up, beautiful. It's time, right? So be bold, be bright, be youthful, and be beautiful, my darlings. I love you, because today is the first day of the rest of your life. Have a great day.